I've seen a ton of people rush into the cheapest mini PC they can find, only to end up with a box that freezes on the first Windows update or can't keep a single digital sign running all day. The regret that follows is real. You waste time, money, and end up scrambling for a replacement before the project even launches. That's why I wanted to see if the HP Pro T550 feels like a smarter buy, or if it's just another low-priced option that will let you down. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. The first question most of us ask is, will this machine actually hold up in a real-world office or kiosk environment? Or am I just buying a glorified stick PC that will need a new motherboard in 6 months? With the Pro T550, the answer leans toward yes, it can. It's a compact 1.3 kilograms unit that ships with a 2 GHz processor and Windows 10 IoT Enterprise, which means the OS is locked down for stability and remote management. That's a big plus if you're deploying it in a storefront or a small workshop where you don't want end users tinkering with settings. Let's walk through a typical setup. I unpacked the box, attached the power brick, and connected a single HDMI monitor, a USB keyboard, and an Ethernet cable. The machine boots in under 30 seconds, and the Windows login screen appears with the familiar HP logo. Because it runs the IoT Enterprise Edition, the initial configuration wizard nudges you toward a kiosk mode where you can pin a specific application to start automatically. In my test, I set it to launch a Chrome browser in full screen mode pointing at a custom dashboard. From the moment I pressed power, the dashboard stayed up, refreshed every minute, and never threw a device not responding error over a 12-hour run. That kind of reliability is exactly what a small business owner needs when the whole point is to display live data without a tech person hovering over it all day. Now, who should actually consider buying the HP Pro T550? If you run a single-site retail location and need a low-profile computer for digital signage, point-of-sale terminals, or a thin client that can be mounted behind a monitor, this model checks the boxes. It's also a solid candidate for a modest home office where desk space is at a premium and you need a dedicated machine for video conferencing, basic spreadsheet work, and occasional file server duties. The weight and form factor mean you can slip it into a Visa mount and hide it behind a TV, keeping the workspace tidy. On the other side of the coin, there are clear reasons to skip it. If your workflow demands heavy multitasking, 3D rendering, or any kind of sustained CPU-intensive processing, the 2 GHz processor will feel underpowered. The Pro T550 isn't built for gaming, video editing, or AI model training. It's designed for stability, not raw performance. Similarly, if you need a lot of local storage for large media libraries, you'll have to add an external drive because the internal storage options are limited and not easily upgradable without opening the chassis, which some users might find inconvenient. One practical strength that often gets overlooked in these compact machines is the thermal design. The T550 uses a passive cooling system that runs quietly, so you won't hear the fan kicking in during a presentation. In my office test, the temperature stayed comfortably below 55 degrees Celsius even after several hours of continuous web browsing and a few PDF conversions. That quiet operation is a subtle win for environments like libraries or waiting rooms where background noise matters. The flip side is the limited port selection. You get a single HDMI output, 2 USB-A ports, and 1 USB-C that doubles as power delivery and data. If you need to connect a wired mouse, a barcode scanner, and a USB-C external SSD simultaneously, you'll quickly run out of slots and have to buy a hub. That isn't a deal breaker, but it adds a small extra cost that some budget-conscious buyers might not anticipate. Another hidden trade-off is the network capability. The built-in Ethernet is gigabit, which is great for reliable wired connections, but there is no Wi-Fi module included. For locations where running a cable isn't feasible, you'll need a USB Wi-Fi adapter. In practice, that adapter performed well in my tests, but it's an extra piece you have to source and configure. From a value perspective, the price point of the Pro T550 sits in a sweet spot between the ultra-cheap stick PCs that often require frequent replacement and the higher-end small form factor workstations that can cost double or triple as much. You're paying for a brand you can trust. HP's business line has a reputation for longer firmware support and easier remote management tools, which can save IT time down the road. The inclusion of Windows 10 IoT Enterprise also means you get regular security patches without the bloat of a consumer Windows build, keeping the system lean and less prone to malware. If you're the type of buyer who reads every spec sheet and then worries about the unknowns after the box arrives, the Pro T550 offers a clear